All right, so hi everybody. My name is Amy Wan. I am here to talk to you today about 5 things I learned about starting a legal tech company. So the last time I was here last year, I talked to all of you guys about crowdfunding. I was working in private practice as a crowdfunding and securities attorney, and a couple things really kind of drove me crazy over the past year. One is that every single day I would have to sit down and spend, 20 to 25 hours just producing the first draft of a simple fund document, even if we had a good template, right? And I was like, I can see how we would automate this, and this is a complete and utter waste of my time. I would much rather be walking my dog than spending 20 to 25 hours to produce this first draft. So, my legal tech company essentially kind of automated my knowledge base or everything I know, so it's called Bootstrap Legal. What we do today is we automate the drafting of the legal paperwork that people need to raise capital for their real estate projects. So under securities law, this is called PPM, subscription agreements, things of that sort. But I'm not really here to talk about the company today. I'm more so here to talk about the journey. So, the first lesson I learned is that there's never been a better time to start a legal technology company. So I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with the news, but a lot has happened in, I would say, just the past 6 months, right? This is an actual slide from my pitch deck. All these screenshots were taken over the course of 2 weeks, and these are not like legal tech blogs. These are the Financial Times, the ABA Journal, the Atlantic, Bloomberg Markets, and the New York Times, all talking about legal technology and its promise. This is a bunch of screenshots just of news and legal tech from the past, so starting April, it's probably the past 2 or 3 months. Justin Kan, the founder of Twitch, went and raised $10.5 million for his new legal tech company, Atrium. No one actually knows what they're doing yet. Law Geeks just raised $7 million for its Series A. It uses AI for contract review. And I think just hot off the press this week, Ironclad, which is Jason Bomig out in SF, he raised $11 million in funding for his new contract management platform for in-house counsel. If that is not enough to show you that now is the time to start a legal technology company, Jason Calacanis, which is one of the top 10 angel investors in the world, he just released his new book called Angel. It talks all about angel investing, and in the book, he drops all these knowledge bombs about industries that he's looking at that he thinks are the potential next big wins. And one of the ones he mentions is legal technology. So, if you ever wanted to start a legal tech company, now is the time because the money is there, finally. Number 2, haters are going to hate. So first of all, this depends on what kind of legal technology company you're starting, right? If you're starting, I don't know, like a marketplace or maybe a tool to help attorneys manage their litigation, maybe they might love you, maybe they won't hate you. I'm doing a consumer-facing product. Thus, other real estate attorneys have don't like me quite so much. So actually, I started the company in March. We incorporated in April. We did a friends and family round in May, and we just launched last Tuesday. And already, in the matter of a week and a half, I have hate mail. Oh, so so this is a message I got the week that I launched on LinkedIn. It's actually an attorney that I've met before in person. I know, which, if it were anonymous, like who cares, right? But I actually know this person, which makes it sting a little bit. But this is probably my favorite message so far. I've gotten other ones, but this is my favorite so far because basically she spends the entire message talking about how much I suck and how much no one wants my product and how everybody hates me, and then asks me to send her business and referrals. So the lesson here is grow a thick skin. there's a guy in the real estate industry, and that's the industry that I'm in, and his name is Grant Cardone, and he says, if people are sending you hate mail, you're doing the right thing, so you should double down. So double down. Number 3, the people that you want to get money from might not really understand what you're doing. And I say this on many levels. So I had a conversation with probably, I don't know, like 3 VCs last week. 2 of them were concerned about my market size, which I can understand. And one of them told me, who in here knows what a PPM is? Okay, so a PPM, which is what we automate, is like this complex, 60 to 100-page document that discloses every single possible risk of the investment, because this is a document that you want to give your investors, giving them warning about everything that could go wrong in case they lose their money, right? And the VCs, when they raise funds, they need fund documents too. So I kind of assumed that they would understand why these documents are important. Instead, he was like, you know what? I don't care about legal. I feel like attorneys are always selling me templates anyways. Aren't you just changing the name of this thing and then selling it to us for $50,000? And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's not that simple. I'm pretty sure the attorney isn't just sitting there twiddling their thumbs for 100 hours and then just changing your name and selling it for $50,000. But that's what you're up against, right? You have to find a way to explain what you're doing and why it's valuable and why you're not just a form filler outer to people who do not understand the law at all. And it's hard, it's difficult. Another thing for those of you who are interested in actually targeting the consumer space, is that if you're trying to make legal services more accessible and affordable to people, you're gonna run into arguments about your market size. Because the truth is that, they say the legal industry is a $65 billion industry, but the numbers aren't there for the types of transactions that you're going to want to handle. In my industry, where people are, they're paying, a $1 million real estate raise, the legal fees on that are gonna cost, depending on the law firm you go to, anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000. If you're raising $300,000, you're not gonna pay $10,000 to $25,000. And so all the VCs ask, well, we don't understand, according to SEC data that you've presented, there's barely any real estate transactions less than $1 million, because they don't understand that the market isn't there, that's being underserved today. So that's what you're up against. Number 4, it forces you to really understand your clients. So I started my career first with the federal government as a regulator. Then I went in-house as general counsel at a startup, and I thought, because I was the client and I was hiring the attorneys, that I really understood what clients want, because I would get annoyed at other attorneys for stuff they did to me, right? And so when I went into private practice, I was like, I get it. I get what clients want, and just did my legal work all day long. When I started the legal technology company, it made me realize I don't know shit about what clients want. And the truth is, sometimes your clients don't know what they want either. You have to sit down with them and figure out what they want, what process they want, how much can they pay, how much do they want to pay, right? How can you make this easier for them to understand, because they don't understand the law either. And I think for the first time, it's been an incredibly valuable exercise to actually sit down with my former clients and say, hey, what do you actually want? What could we or any other lawyer have done better? And one example of this is, all my clients over the past year, under the age of 35, every time I gave them wire instructions for my retainer, they're like, hey, can I Venmo this to you? And I'm like, no, you can't, because then I have to sit here and write a check and find an envelope and a stamp so that I can pay my law firm, so that, your retainer doesn't end up in my personal checking account. It's in like the client trust account, and they don't get it. All they know is they don't want to go to a bank and send a wire. So these are the type of things I'm talking about. And the last thing is, and I don't think this is just specific to legal tech, this is any entrepreneur in general, is it forces you to really listen to yourself. So I think when everyone thinks about starting a startup, they think this, like everything's glitter and unicorns and it's so great and we're gonna be our own boss and gonna raise all this money. But usually the journey is more like this, where you're like literally wading through shit. And I don't know if you guys remember that scene from The Princess Bride where like they're walking through this swamp with like the firebomb things, and then there's the rodents of unusual sizes, and Wesley's like getting attacked by all sides. Like that is literally what starting your own tech company is like. And so, the takeaways from that is that you need to be really truthful with yourself about why you're doing this. If you're doing this for money, don't do it. Right? You have to really believe in what you're doing, because otherwise it's not worth it and you're just gonna wanna quit. But that said, I think, at least for me, the past couple months has been the most invigorating of my entire career, because I feel like I am finally practicing the law the way I would like to practice it, right? Efficiently, effectively, making sure that my clients are happy. So, that's it. That's it for my presentation.